What's up, YouTube? So I'm checking out Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, and they talk about Barry Bonds not making it to the Hall of Fame, I think for the 7th time in a row. So let's hear what they have to say about that. It's got to be good.
Hall of Fame voter,
Yep.
Parker, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you. I am going to start with Skip on this one,
Thank
though.
you.
Should Bonds be in?
Barry Bonds should have been in the Hall of Fame at his first opportunity. And allow me to start this, even though you are a Hall of Fame voter, because I did cover Barry Bonds for 3 years in the Bay Area.
There was nothing more magical. Didn't you go to the ballpark almost every night?
Every night. I went on the road with them through all the home run
You
chase.
did.
Those are some of the greatest moments of my career because I've never seen anything quite like that. I've seen Tom Brady do what he did in overtime, but this is the hardest single thing to do in sports, and he did it the best that it's ever been done. That's hit a baseball consistently. When he would see maybe 2 good pitches a night, hittable pitches a night, and he would hit them as hard as you could hit them, and it would either hit the wall or go over the wall. And allow me to tell you why I believe he's not in the Hall. Obviously, he resorted to using PEDs.
See, now I don't like that at all, Skip. I don't like that at all because he was never caught using steroids. He was never caught juicing at all. So people to say that is inaccurate. You can't accuse a man of taking something that he hasn't been convicted for. He's completely innocent. Anything anybody says is all hearsay. He's never been convicted. You can't say anything about that. He should have been in the Hall of Fame in the first time. There's no getting around that. I think what it is the media hated on him because he didn't want to talk to the media. Because everybody knows the media jackals won't leave you alone. They're all over the place. And once if you get into it, one of the jackals and then another jackals, and then they'll start to gang up on you. They'll try to dogpile you. And then you have to fight back. So Barry Sanders probably fights back. He's probably tired of them. He's dealt with them his whole career. And his best way of dealing with the media jackals is talking shit back.
In his mind, I believe he had to because he watched what Sosa and McGuire did in the Summer of Love, 1998.
Player that he was.
That is correct.
And
that is correct.
Those two dudes, whether baseball wants to acknowledge it or not, they saved baseball that year.
It was
1998,
and I covered that whole chase. I was there every single.
So Rob is right about that. I think it was 1998 or 99 when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire were just slugging it. I mean, they were just killing it. They were walking up on the plate, just swole as hell. And I think it really did revive baseball because baseball seemed like it was getting boring. Nobody was really caring about it. Granted, I mean, there were people that cared about it, but it just seemed like the NFL football was taking over and the NBA was really just, overshadowing baseball. It just seemed like baseball was boring. But once Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire came back and started hitting dongs left and right, it really revived it.
All the way down the stretch. To me, Mark McGuire wasn't a Hall of Famer without PEDs. Barry Bonds, even without PEDs, is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you about covering Barry Bonds on a daily basis. He's just a bad guy. One of the worst guys I've ever covered. I don't like Barry Bonds as a guy, and I don't care. It should not matter.
Should not.
Because, listen.
Now, I'm glad Skip said that. You got to separate the two. There's business, and then there's personal. Skip does not like Barry Bonds. Like I said, Skip was one of the media jackals. So Barry probably didn't like him because he probably messed with him a lot. I can see that. But what Skip did is he separated his personal feelings for the greatness that was Barry Bonds. And I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he acknowledged that. I wish more people would acknowledge that.
On a daily basis, Barry Bonds went out of the way to be a bad guy to the media. He did not like us, and most of us did not like it. We despised him. I wouldn't go so far for me to say as I despised it because I was in awe of him as a baseball player. But on a daily basis, he either wouldn't speak to us, which is breaking rule number 1 for media because you don't get access, so you can't write your story. Your editor's saying, where are the Barry Bonds quotes? Well, he wouldn't speak. Well, you get him to speak. Well, if you got him to speak, he would go out of his way to humiliate or embarrass you or insult you. Or
all true.
It was just, I clashed with him one day. He was mad at me, and he came up. I was just standing in the middle of the clubhouse, and he came up and behind me and grabbed my arm in his vice grip and just held my arm and just stared right into my eyes for like probably 10 seconds. It seemed like 2 minutes, and I just...
Nah. Barry, you keep your hands to yourself. You know, you put hands on me, it's about to go down. It's about to get kind of UFC-ish up in there. You keep your goddamn hands to yourself.
Looked at him like, and? You know, like, are you trying to intimidate me?
Remember what it was?
I'm not afraid. I got to tell you, I'm
Some
not
column
afraid.
just
Yeah,
didn't
it was
like.
something.
Okay, I don't know what it was. I have no idea because I was mostly in his corner.
Right.
He was just, by nature, not a nice guy. Well, so what? Because when he had that little bat in his hand, it was a little bat and he choked up on it. I've never seen anything like this. He was simply the greatest hitter in the history of baseball and the greatest player in the history of baseball. He won 8 Gold Gloves. 8. Didn't have a big arm, but it was a pretty accurate arm. But still, in his heyday in Pittsburgh, he could steal bases and...
Legit 5-tool.
Legit 5-tool. That fifth tool, that arm is just okay. It was
Right,
just
he plays
I
shallow.
know.
Shallow.
I am with you.
Try him if you
To
want
compensate.
to.
Right,
And
right.
if you look at, I don't have time to list the records, but we're talking about on-base percentage, on-base plus slugging. It's simply this. He was the first hitter who ever had the advantage over the pitcher because we've always seen the pitcher have the
Right.
advantage until Barry Bonds came along.
Yep.
And he would stand in there and just spit on those pitches. You know, if it missed by an inch, he would just...
What was the year he had 225 walks?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Something
it's just out. He shattered Babe Ruth's on-base percentage
Yeah.
because you just couldn't get the man
Couldn't
out.
sneak it by him.
Yeah, and after a while, they would walk him, and then they'd say, no, we can try to pitch to him, and he would literally see 2 pitches a night. He would crush those pitches. That was especially in that 2001. Whew, I've never seen anything like it. So to me, I don't care what he was off the field. At least he didn't commit any crimes that I'm aware of.
Exactly, Skip. He didn't kill anybody. He hadn't raped anybody. He wasn't doing drugs. He wasn't getting DUIs that I can recall. Yeah, I don't think Barry has any DUIs. Yeah, he didn't beat up his wife or anything like that I can recall either. You know, so they just hated on him because he just didn't cooperate and do what they wanted to do.
Oh, was he not a good guy? Not a good guy. Belonged in the hall from day one. I'm sorry. And by the way, you can give a man all the PEDs you want, but you still have to make contact, man.
Eye-hand coordination, and I totally agree.
So why didn't the other guys that were using PEDs put up these numbers?
Good question.
That's because they weren't good
as
enough,
good.
Shannon. You just said it.
Skip, if you look, let's just take his first 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
First 8 years, he had 2 MVPs, 3 Gold Gloves, 3 Silver Sluggers. That's what he had in his first 8 years. In that Hall of Fame.
In most of those are in how many years?
Yeah, he had
7 years in Pittsburgh.
Because his first year in San Francisco, he won the MVP.
Okay.
So that's in his first 8 years.
And he was still Skinny Barry at that point.
His first 11 years.
Yep.
When they said, because everybody, the timeline that everybody wants to jump on is around 99,
That's
after
true.
the 98
Yep.
season, 99. So he had 8 gold by 99, all before 99, 8 Gold Gloves, 7 Silver Sluggers, and 3 MVPs. Is that a Hall of Fame?
Yes.
If he
Done.
Over. If he just takes his best, I'm going home. I don't want to even play no more. Y'all can't get me out anyway. He's a Hall of Famer. Now we want to go back because if I follow this closely, steroids were illegal in baseball. So in other words, you're going back to grandfather something in
That's true.
to punish a guy for a crime that wasn't a crime when he actually.
So Shannon is right. Technically, steroids was not legal at the time to be taken in a Major League Baseball. But in the spirit of the game, you know damn well taking steroids is cheating. You know, you're giving yourself an advantage that, frankly, Barry Bonds doesn't really need. But it cheats everybody else. Because let's just say, for instance, there was somebody that was just as good as Barry Bonds, but they didn't decide to take steroids, but Barry Bonds did. They may have been better than Barry Bonds if they took steroids. But that person may have gotten screwed over because Barry overshadowed them. I mean, you just never know what the scenarios are. But, you know, Shannon is correct that steroids was not illegal at that point in time. But in the spirit of the game, you were cheating yourself and everybody else. But Barry Bonds never caught. So, whatever.
Admit it. if he committed it. Now, he didn't lie. He said, hey, what they gave me
I put
on. Most people at that time, Skip, steroid was a pill or you put it in your butt.
Right.
Balco came up with an ingenious way. We can rub it on your skin and get the same effect or to do the gummies. So he didn't lie. If they told him it was flaxseed oil, I ain't going to get to all that, what he knew and what he didn't know. He said, my trainer gave me this, I put it on. That's what I did. But to all of a sudden now, to go back and like, oh, he did steroid. Well, they should have had it in the bylaws that if you do these illegal drugs, you're not getting in the hall. Now, because he was a jerk, and he was, because I had a buddy of mine ask him for an autograph. He told my buddy, he said, why would I give you an autograph when somebody pay me $2,500 for this if I autograph this
That's
person?
Barry.
Yeah,
There you go.
But I ain't got no problem with that. I saw him in the All-Star game. He's unbelievable. I used to watch him when he's going through this chase. Imagine this, Skip, you said Tom Brady. Put this in perspective. Let Tom Brady, I want you to have Tom Brady go the entire game, and he doesn't throw a pass. And he get 2 chances to throw the game-winning touchdown from 25 yards out. I want Steph Curry to go the entire game. Klay Thompson to go the entire game.
That's true.
And I want them to hit a game-winning shot from 25. And they don't take a shot the entire game because that's what they asked Barry Bonds to do.
Wow.
He would see one pitch. Buck Showalter says, you know what? I'm so afraid of this man. I'm a walk or run in.
With the bases loaded.
I'm a walk or run in.
With the bases loaded. That's what you're dealing with. That's what kind of goatness you're dealing with Barry Bonds. To walk him with the bases loaded.
Do the pitch to you.
It was a smart move, too.
It was.
He got Jeff Kent MVP, too.
He did.
He did.
Or as I call him, Jeff Can't.
This is now my brethren, this is where they've gone astray, and I'm one of them, but they really have on this because a lot of the stuff, Skip, you talked about is so true. And this is what I don't get. You know, in order for Barry Bonds to win those 7 MVPs, the writers have to vote for him. It's not a...
They voted for him.
They voted for him
Then.
during that time. So despite how he treated us,
Okay.
we looked at the numbers and what he was doing, and we couldn't deny it. We couldn't deny it. But now...
Even though you suspected it.
Right. It was always out there.
Oh, okay.
But we voted for him, Skip, and now for the ultimate. Now, I do believe he will get in before his time is up because what the Hall of Fame has turned into is the Sympathy Baseball Hall of Fame.
That's true.
Because we just saw Edgar Martinez. Writers didn't vote for him for 9 years. What was his last year? Oh, yeah. Edgar belongs in. This is where we've gone with this. Where Mike Mussina averaged 11 wins a year. 11 and never won a Cy Young. Never won a Cy Young.
Come on.
How are you a Hall of Famer?
I don't know.
But this is where we are. Now, here's the other part. How are the writers with a straight face? And I did. I voted for Bonds. I voted for Sosa. I voted for Sheffield, Clemens, and Mariano. Those were my 5 votes. Okay? How can you keep Bonds out when you voted Pudge in on his first try of Ivan Rodriguez is in the Canseco book. Canseco didn't say, I heard he was doing it. He said, I used to inject him. Was the Canseco book not the Bible, a gospel?
Yes.
Hey, I also covered the Rangers.
You
when
knew
were
they were
the original steroid nest.
Yes,
it started in Texas, and he was a byproduct of that.
And so Pudge gets in on his first try. I was in Detroit when Pudge was there, and he lost 40 pounds in the offseason and said it was by walking after dinner and eating salads. That's what he said when we asked him, where'd all the weight go? Mike Piazza. Has there been nothing but rumors about Mike Piazza forever? Mike Piazza's in the Hall of Fame.
Jeff Bagwell.
Forever. They put Jeff Bagwell in. Why are you doing this to Bonds and Clemens? And Sosa, they do not like so. He had 609 home runs, never tested positive, never suspended. Gary Sheffield hit 508.
Where is Sosa at
He
now?
used to work at.
I know the white Sosa now.
I don't know
what a black Sosa.
I don't know where he is.
That's why they can't put him in.
But Sheffield's the same way. He used to work.
Yeah, Sosa's definitely got some type of Michael Jackson thing going on now. If you just check out some of Sammy Sosa's pictures, his up-to-date pictures, versus his pictures in 98, 99. Just look that up real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about and what Shane is talking about. It's pathetic.
With
He's a
Bonds.
missing person, right?
But
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because here's the argument, Skip, and Rob makes a very compelling point. Even when you suspected he was doing it, you were so in awe of what he was doing that you said, we can give the MVP to no one else other than him.
Yeah.
Now it's time to give him his ultimate validation,
Yeah.
to send him to his Mecca, which is the Hall of Fame, where all the great players go. He's like, nah. We voted for you to get all these MVPs, but now we can really. You should have done it. If you thought he was doing it then, vote somebody else for the MVP.
Absolutely. But ultimately, I think there's a punishment kind of thing that they're going through, and they're going to wait till the final hour probably, because next year is Jeter, so they probably won't do it.
No.
You know what I mean? They probably won't do it next year.
I want to know what they're going to do with David Ortiz.
Well,
That's what I want to see.
I already
because
told Mike.
because they pretend like he.
And nothing happened. Him and Manny Ramirez were busted.
Hey, I know he won them MVPs and he was unbelievable, but I want to see what they do with David Ortiz.
You got to do it. It's either you let people in or nobody gets in, and they've
It's
let
too late. They
people
don't let
in.
people
I
in.
know.
It's too late now. Put Barry in there. 8 Gold Gloves, 12 Silver Sluggers, 7 MVPs.
How can you have a Hall of Fame without Barry Bonds?
You don't.
Seriously.
And they know that that people won't
If
take
you-
it seriously.
If I start listing the bad guys who are in the Hall of Fame, starting with Ty Cobb.
Well, you got to put it.
Come on.
You got to start pulling some of them out.
Yeah, come on.
Take him
Once
out.
you
I
shot
don't know.
Mike Mussina is a Hall of Famer. Okay.
I can't explain it.
I enjoyed hearing
And
the stories about it.
probably the best post-game season picture ever. Now, I don't like his rhetoric. I don't really care for him. But Kurt Schilling, what you going to do with him? He's 11-2 in the postseason.
Hey, he was really good, and I'm not a fan of his off the field, but I got to tell you, he's worthy, man.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
But the talk that he doesn't get votes because he's conservative, I don't believe that. You know the press box, Skip. Everybody in that press box not liberal, so I don't buy into that. That it's just a liberal.
The whole thing boils down to politics, whether or not the writers and voters, whoever, like you. That's what it boils down to. Because the numbers don't lie. They don't lie at all. It boils down to politics.
bias against